My name is Vuk Jovanović again. Dear Mr. Trump, this is like my most important message that I sent you. I sent you a couple of messages. I'll now make sure that you'll receive it firsthand from the people who are next to you. And this is regarding the topic that I believe could solve the problem of election this year. Maybe it looks a big word, but this is very important. Namely, after I moved to Las Vegas I said everything is about the fate. Fate was that I met your wife Ivana in St. Moritz in the beginning of the 80s. Fate, I went to New York after being introduced to Vivian Sirota, your best friend of your wife. Fate is that I moved to Las Vegas. I was dealing with some projects of government Malta, and fate was that in Las Vegas I met a very famous journalist, patriotic journalist, one of the rare patriot journalists who is like Alex Jones of Las Vegas. His name is Lou Epton. And fate is that he introduced me to the most important American patriots to whom I received many information, and the most important thing is that I was able to meet a source who explained me everything from first hand, number one source in the United States, who introduced me to the Vince Foster affair. Not only that, he explained me too that Mrs. Clinton was essential in that affair, that she was the one who was stealing documents from her husband, who was the president of the country, and she was selling these documents with her lover, Vince Foster, to the foreign country. I just saw the other day when you spoke 24th of May with Washington Post, and then they have a title here, "No Donald Trump, there is nothing fishy about the Vince Foster suicide," Washington Post, right? This is a question of word. This is extremely fishy. Talk about fishy. This is not only a affair when Vince Foster was caught by FBI and by CIA and NSA. This is the biggest and best organized operation by those two companies. I give my compliments for both of this. That's why they deserve every penny they invest in that. They have a special system from special computers in Arkansas. They've been entering all computers in the world. That means computers by intelligence services or computers by the banking system. They've been using a long time this phenomena because NSA was the owner of the software for almost all countries, including China and the Russian Union. That's why it's one of the other phenomena. But this is now something was very important. By one routine, please, Mr. Trump, listen very carefully, because I was coincidentally in a situation to hear something which was absolutely out of this world, and I knew when this time will come, and when I saw that Mrs. Clinton qualified to be in the final, so to speak, arena with you, I started calling all our friends. Elisaveta Karađorđević, Princess of Karađorđević. I started calling Prince Dmitry, all people that I know, trying to reach your wife, trying to reach people I know, trying to reach Vivian Sirota. I found her son Daniel, who became mayor and who is now on the way to the Senate. But he didn't tell me at the first place that they're no longer with you and they're not friends with you. And I lost about a month and a half, because I expected that they will do something to explain it. But recently they rejected to give you my information, and I was very surprised, and I couldn't believe that something like that is possible. Because it's duty of every country, of everybody, if there is any possibility that we're dealing with traitor of first degree, like I have information about that, that should inform at least you and your wife. And I'm telling one other thing. On Monday I'll be asking officially by ambassador of American ambassador in Serbia, Mr. Scott, and also I will also I will call, and I sent a letter to the director of FBI, that I would like to appear in any court of justice and I will say, yes, Mrs. Clinton is a traitor, and I have proof of that. Now, listen to this very carefully, Donald. Talking about fishes, in that phenomenal action which was conducted by those two couples, which I complimented again, they caught 60 big, huge fishes, like you can imagine, like in the movie about fishing, okay? Fishing like big tunas. There are 60 senators and congressmen. It's not only espionage affair, this is biggest corruption affair, in connection with corruption. Namely, the most famous senator and congressman were caught in their account in a Swiss bank, secret accounts. And of course, at the end, talking about big fishes, then also we have now the number one fish, who is bigger as a fish in the movie. There was your minister, your secretary for defense, Caspar Weisberger. He was like Moby Dick in this respect. This affair died because Caspar Weisberger was a very important figure. He is now, obviously, she is chairman of the board of Forbes magazine. So director of the Forbes magazine, Mr. Forbes, simply said stop. So this affair was completely stopped, and also that will be tremendous scandal in the United States, where people in the United States will find out that their senator and congressmen are traitors. They're getting money from foreign countries, in illegal funds and everything else. But now we're coming back to Mr. Foster. Mr. Foster was caught, but in different position. He was caught as spy, and now my number one source in the United States that I will show you, he was saying that simply he had the $2.2 million he received for the most important documents that one country could have. So they sold both of them, not only him but she, and that's what the first source was telling not only me but also Webton. And I was losing. That was for me the day that I could never forget. And he said that she was the most important figure in this than he, because he was only in charge to have this information, not him. And this information was given to some foreign country, and it's the biggest scandal in that respect. She was selling information. It's the highest espionage affair in the history of any country. However, I have a lot of friends in the United States of America. I know a lot of people from FBI, from various agencies. I give my credentials. I know a lot of people in the Justice Department that I simply would like to reveal with you and to everybody else everything regarding this case, especially because involvement of family for example, you was heard that for the first time in the history of the United States, such high-ranking killings or suicide, so to speak, and there was no suicide by no means, by killing. They put him in just like a dog. They just drop him in a park. It was conducted by, believe it or not, by park police. Park police conducted, and now is the newest information for you, Mr. Clinton, and everybody in the United States. Why was that? I also, as a reporter, will help you very much. We can find also that particular person who will give you information as well as other people that we're talking about. Why FBI didn't do that? At this point, director of FBI was William Steele Sessions, who worked as chief of director of Federal Bureau from 1987 to 93. When he was dismissed by the President Clinton, that says in the encyclopedia. What's happened just 9 days before he was dismissed was a suicide of Mr. Vince Foster. according to my source, who is the #1 source in the United States, he told me that simply FBI and particularly this gentleman didn't want to work with such a mess that CIA committed by killing the first ally of Mr. Clinton, and brought him in the park. There was no blood, there was no bullets, there was nothing that one FBI office could work. So they didn't want to have a dirty hands. They're working with CIA, who did a dirty job by leaving him such a horrible mess. So this gentleman resigned. Not that he was fired. He resigned. He said, "I'm not working this period." And he was very right. He was before he was working. He's a judge, by the way, by profession. So he knew how to handle this case. He didn't work with Clinton, who is famous for this dirt, for his dirty affairs and everything else. So now we have this very important newest moment. Kasper Weisberger. I also, Mr. Clinton, or Mr. Trump will introduce you to other people in this respect, and you will be able to conduct further investigation. That's why we will be very much willing to help you in this. Now is the $1,000,000 questions. Why everything that other party, who obviously has this information, you see, I found out that you don't know these details. You don't know about this 60 Senator Congress because they was put under the carpet. Why those other side is completely working, that you're not capable, that you're nervous, that your temper is very big, and everything that they have are pushing in this respect. The key word, Mr. Trump, is bottom. Bottom. Why bottom? When we meet, or I meet one of your sons, I will give you this most important question. Why bottom? Why the bottom is so explained? Why they have to work from thousands of various sources and journalists and everything else to make you not capable to carry this box? That's the catch-22. You see, this is one of the major figures. I would very much like to meet with your son very soon and to reveal him the whole story and how we can work out and how we can find those killers. You see, everything that Mr. Clinton and Mr. Clinton's family done was a lie, was fraud, and even famous case that 99, they bombarded my country, they destroyed everything, and I would like to share this information with your son Eric, because he has foundation for helping children that have cancer, and in Serbia we have 30 different nations. And I'm in the office of Don Hewitt. He was watching. This is so easy to be seen. It was self-inflicted. There's simply there's nothing on the market. There's no food. There's nothing reason for people to come to the market, and they just drop body from refrigerators on the market, and they've been shooting the film and making this like the dog, all these effects. And I got this material, which was, people were laughing that Jeff Fager and Don Hewitt have been laughing, and they said, "Mr. Janowicz, everything is clear. They was self-inflicted, like our friend told us." And by no means, and I very much like my film, and Jeff Fager was chosen to work with me on this topic. But he said, "Let me go to my office to speak to my office, to CIA." He went for 20 minutes. He left. He said, "CIA source, my best source, CIA, told me that he was right. It was done by the Muslim, but at the same time, he told me that I'm not able to play a film." So CIA was determining, big 60 minutes, that they could not play the film because of politics, because of everything that was in relation to the politics. That's why I hope now, because now is everything very clear that that was done by the Muslim terrorists, that Jeff Fager, who I'm going to approach again, who I sent also material, and I hope that you'll be able to speak to him too, because CBS organization Be because of this false flag terrorist act, they killed 3,000 men in one minute by the bombs, and they made also another damage to the country in that particular part. And they own to the public apology for that, and I hope that Jeff Fager will be able to play not only this time, both things, and especially your story, Mr. Trump, and this is biggest espionage affair by Mrs. Clinton. As I said, I know the substance of the information. I know how much they got paid. I know how they made it, because they control all intelligence services, and they found input and output $2.2 million. As I said before, when there was this scenery in Houston, Texas, when you were saying your at the time a senator from Texas as your competitors, and Mr. Bush was there with his wife, and she was showing this like how he's going to do with you. Somehow I felt that he will do that because he's doing it. He's one of the biggest criminals in the history of the United States. His father was helping Nazi during the war, Prescott Bush, and I'm sure that he and CIA will do something with you, because this man is a monster. He was also, according to my sources, because now, after I started being with the Patriots, I received zillions of information that nobody has, even you. Because what one director of FBI has, especially when he opened himself, he didn't have nothing to hide. He considered me like his son. He brought me every place with him, and I learned 10,000 various details that nobody will ever able to learn by normal means. So in other words, Mr. Trump, that was done by then. So Mr. Clinton was just simply doing everything, and everything was fraud by this family. You remember his wife, that she came to Sarajevo, she was giving 5 different stories, how she came a sniper, she almost get caught, the bullet was passing me by. She get 5 information in a matter of a few days. That means she was lying. And such person is trying to be President of the United States. For that reason, I also I'll be able to testify, as I said, and I want your help. And by the way, I just need desperately to meet with your son, because I'm not able to walk, and I'm here limited. Otherwise, I'll be tomorrow in New York, and I wish to come, and I need some to end up my hospitalization. I have operated both of my hips, and afterwards I had an accident, so I could hardly move. I was in a wheelchair until a few days ago. Talking about this, we should definitely reveal all these aspects. In other words, having this, to come back to some information, when I spoke to the source told me absolutely, that is absolutely amazing, that she was without any compromise. She was simply selling this information with her lover, which was that one country could have. This is the #1 information. And now they're contributing you, Mr. Clinton. And this is something what is $1 million, $1 million affair, how we can solve that. By solving that, Mr. Clinton's time as president will be over, because we'll be able to prove everything, and after we're having this best of the best sources, we'll also prove some people in the Republican Party, they have full knowledge. One I know in particular have a same source as I do, or even some other. So we will be able to prove it, and he knows exactly that she was the one, and everything else. I have many examples with Lefton. For example, that I was occasionally able to hear that, like this story with Vince Foster. I remember there was a 98 February, I was also in Los Angeles, obviously I was living there. And Lefton, who likes me very much, he was like, somehow he was one who discovered me, so to speak. So he likes very much to invite me with he has some of the cases, because I have time. I give also usually option to various hotels 2 months and before they decide to go to Malta and to invest money. And also I have a 2 months time to work with these topics and make films and everything else. And one day he invited me and he told me, look, there is one person whose name is Larry Harris. Larry Harris was a famous macrobiologist. And let's go with me to see what he has to say. And we went to some nice restaurant in Henderson. And he was the first person who was dealing with he was teaching Saddam Hussein, who was before American assets, he was working for CIA before, how to poison Iranians. They'd be using special poison from the farm of Mr. Bush and Mr. Baker, Secretary of State at the time, because he's in Boca Raton, in one place where all neighbors, very close to many houses there. They have a fantastic laboratory, and this man was using their poison to poison Iranians. The man was completely, he was very strange. He was having dinner, and he was telling us how difficult, how easy it is to destroy a city, or whatever city in the world, for $10,000 hardware. How there's also a pandemic that could destroy 100 million people. But the most damaging thing was during the dinner, he said to Lou Epton, Lou, I don't want to use to poison 300,000 American people by poisoning a reservoir, a water reservoir, by putting anthrax in a reservoir. Simply, I don't want to do that. Please help me. We was shocked because I was pushing each other like kids under the table that such thing could happen. That CIA ordered him to make false flag, like September 11, like many others in history. They ordered the best man to do that. And we went, after dinner, we went home. There was a radio show, I remember there was between 12 to 2. And we were surprised that he said in the radio, same thing. I don't want to poison the reservoir to kill 300,000 American people, and then because they want to accuse Saddam Hussein for this crime and to able to attack him. Same thing like September 11, the attack Afghanistan. We were shocked. I mean, I was not in the studio. I was watching this through my computer. 2:30, he went back to Anderson. All of a sudden, all stations started reporting. CNN, CBS, breaking news that this gentleman was about to poison the whole city of Las Vegas, and he was caught, which was completely false. Like they make defamation of the man, who was the best scientist, and he wrote books. I can show you also books. A lot of books about these topics, and they affirm because he said the story. And this particular program was patriotic program, was from a small station, from a little house that practically you can just blow up one of the typical houses in Las Vegas, made out of curtains, and this program are hearing 20 to 30 million people from a big distance from Las Vegas, and giving commentaries and everything else. So FBI came with a fraud, with lie. The man was arrested, big scandal, and you can find it even on the internet and where everything. And after 1 month he was released because they need him, and they simply. But that was just to show how they do. So, or even your friend Jesse Ventura, he will explain you how in one island, so-called Plum Island, they have a laboratory, Nazi laboratory, and they produce viruses and everything else, Lyme disease that I have had, for example, and they are producing everything against the people there, and just to harm the people. So that's why Mr. Clinton, Mr. Trump, we must work together now. I want to help you, and by helping you, I'm helping the whole world. Let's form let's form something together, our allies, to do something, especially in this case of Vince Foster, because I'm 100% sure you will hear from me again, and I would like to meet your people and discuss that matter immediately, because it's very little time, And this is not a small fish and nothing fish, it's a lot of fish. As I said, tons of fish were caught. By the way, there was this money that was in the Swiss banks was, they use the hacker, the CIA hacker, the guy told me from this #1 source of CIA, he said there was, that the CIA hackers simply moved that money to American Treasury Department. Nobody complained because they don't want to be in position to be alone. You see, who knows how many, and I remember the names, and I have a listing of the names. Most famous people in US Congress or Senate was involved in that affair. That's why this affair was closed and moved under the carpet, and that's why nobody knows about it. But point is, button. That's why they're accusing you. So this is something that you should be aware of that, and you will know now why. Because why? Because simply they have this information. Also, when I approach Director of CIA, Mr. Brennan, that you have this. I sent you in a group of various videos. I sent also my when I approached Mr. Brennan, I said, Mr. Brennan, you know now, because I give him plenty of details, much more than even tonight that I gave it to you. It's obviously to see that I know everything. I said, Mr. Brennan, I know, for example, that you know that she is a spy and she stayed alive, and Mr. Vince was killed. So now it's a big problem. They have to lie now to the end to keep her alive, running after you, Donald, or they have to do something with her because she's a bad witness. And if everything we prove, CIA will be in big trouble because they knowingly let her go with you in Arena. Knowingly, they have to completely be as agency in a big trouble because of her. I wish you everything good, Donald, and you have all my numbers and people that I'm sending you, and now I will find other way how to come very close to you and to reach you. And please do call me immediately and organize that we should meet definitely very fast, and we should fight Satan, because she's a Satan, because we are Christians. We want to keep our faith, Judaism, Christianity, and Buddhism, everything. They want to replace it with Satanism. They want everybody to be in their cover. Okay, Mr. Trump, hope to see you soon.
Influential Srebrenica police chief Hakija Meholjic was invited to a conference at the Holiday Inn Sarajevo to discuss the Stoltenberg-Owen peace plan. Hakija and the Srebrenica delegation were full of hope.
Mi smo došli sa helikopterom na aerodrom i na aerodromu smo iz helikoptera u transporter i transporter nas je dovezao tamo sa ove strane pozadi i mi smo tada uveli su nas u jednu prostoriju gore na ovom spratu. Bio je veliki sto, mi smo seli za sto, mi delegacija i bio je Aleš Begović kao predsjednik predsjedništva Bosne i Hercegovine. Imali smo sastanak, znači, sa predsjednikom.
The Srebrenica representatives were surprised that the president himself received them.
Reći izvorno ono što je rekao predsjednik Begović. Dragi moji Srebreničani, kako ste? Dobro je kako ste vi, predsjednik. Nudi mi Clinton da uđu četnici u Srebrenicu, izvrše pokolj 5000 muslimana i bit će vojna intervencija NATO snaga na srpske položaje u cijeloj Bosni i Hercegovini. Šta vi mislite o tome? Ja sam skočio i kajem, jesu ti lud? ko će dati, ti na klanje, ti ne ideš, ti na klanje, ti ne ideš. Ovo je ono što je on rekao. I onda je počela rasprava. Da li je to njemu Clinton nudio, da li nije, ja ne znam, nemam. Nakon naših izmijenjanih nekoliko riječi, rečenica, gospodin Izetbegović je pitao da li prihvatamo zamjenu Srebrenice i Vogošće, jer ima tu ponudu. Mi smo u glas, tad su i drugi učesnici rekli, predsjedniče, ako ste nas zvali radi toga, niste nas trebali zvati, jer mi nemamo mandat da mijenjamo teritorije, ni da nam je to dao narod u tome.
Izetbegović then ended the meeting. Still appalled by the president's outrageous proposal, Hakija and the Srebrenica delegation were paraded as war heroes.
Heroj Srebrenice, Žepe i Goražda, pa vas molim da ih pozdravite.
Poslije toga smo nas uveli na sjednicu, sjednica je trajala. Bilo je to mučno i mi smo diskutovali među sobom da smo bili frapirani, da ne možemo dođemo sebi, da je li to moguće da smo mi dati, da će nas dati, da će nas žrtvovati.
Molim profesora doktora Hajrudina Numića da uzme riječ, gospođa Azra Begić da se pripremi.
A participant at this conference was Professor Mohamed Filipović, one of the founding fathers of Bosnia's ruling party, the SDA. As ambassador to London during the war, he was deeply involved in peace negotiations. On one occasion, he discussed Srebrenica with his Serbian counterpart, President Slobodan Milosevic.
There has been a discussion about changing territories. I haven't been told by Izetbegović, but I have been told by Milosevic. He told me, I said, I'm telling to Karadzic, why you want to have the Srebrenica and Žepa, where the Serbians' foot never put it. Yes, of course. And he said, why we, but he said to me, Karadzic said, yeah, I want compact Serbian territory by the Drina River, and I am going to give them Hadžići, Ilyas, and Vogošća.
Such an exchange of territory would give the Muslims in Sarajevo more space and routes to other Muslim areas, but General Sefer Halilović was totally against any exchange of 3 Serb suburbs in Sarajevo for the 3 Muslim enclaves of Srebrenica, Zepa and Gorače.
Ja sam tad rekao da mi to možemo odraniti. Naravno, on je dosta sa nevjericom slušao ovo što sam ja pričao i bio je uporan u ovom nastojanju da se zamijeni Srebrenica i Žepa za dijelove ovdje oko Sarajeva.
S Alijom smo imali razgovor u 5 sati ujutru, otvoren, da spašava žene i djecu i starce, a nas vojno sposobni nek nas pobiju kad nećemo da se branimo. On je rekao da mi držimo još 2 sata, međutim nikad se više nije htio javiti. Ja sam u ovom ratu izgubio 2 brata i oca koji nisu uzeli oružje. Ja jesam uzeo oružje. Plakali smo mi taj dan kad je Srebrenica pala. Vidjeli smo izdaju i od Alije Izetbegovića i od međunarodne zajednice. Imaju samo dobri i loši ljudi u svakom narodu. Alija je loš čovjek.
Professor Filipović is certain that Orić's army did not fight because there was an agreement between the Serbs and Muslim leadership.
to guarantee that there is not going to be defense.
So to guarantee there's not going to be...
That Muslims are not going to defend themselves, to defend Srebrenica. That Serbians are going to be allowed to enter the Srebrenica.
Who made that decision? Who was key to making that decision?
Izetbegovic.
Respected law enforcement professional, recently or retired now from the FBI, former regional director of Los Angeles. Do you, sir, believe that these dreadful allegations of babies being sacrificed are true?
I absolutely believe it, without any doubt. Based on the information that's been given to me across the country by numerous survivors and by confidential sources and informants.
Then why don't you name these people and arrest them? Never a name, never an arrest. These women come out of a group and they insist that they know the people in the group, and yet they do not identify these large mysterious cults. Name them and arrest them and get them off the street.
Does he not make a valid point?
He makes a valid point. The problem with that is, number one, police officers don't believe it. I may believe it. You may believe it. Some people in your audience may believe it. They don't believe it. Number two, if you decide to investigate these people, you have to, number one, handle it from an undercover operation. If you put an undercover operation into effect, then you have, in a sense, your own police officers become involved in these heinous crimes, and they are, of course, become murderers. And in addition to that, if you do decide to investigate these people, it's a lot of work. And many law enforcement officers are apathetic and don't want to get involved.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard this. The debate here could rage over this issue alone for hours and hours and hours. Michael Aquino is right when he says there have not been any successful prosecutions for this horrible allegation. Ted Gunnarsson is a sincere man with a good reputation who says that there are difficulties in the prosecution. Still, the point is it has never been proven in a court of law. Obviously, it needs more investigation, but if these things are happening, then there should be a national task force of federal and state and local cops working together to prove or disprove. Because this is just unacceptable, this impasse. Coming up, we're going to have warning signs you should watch for, parents, and all of our guests will be available for a final discussion about Satanism after this break.
Death dumps, otherwise known as chemical trails, are being dropped and sprayed throughout the United States, in England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Europe, and I have personally seen them not only in the United States but in Mexico and Canada. Birds are dying around the world. Fish are dying by the hundreds of thousands around the world. This is genocide. This is poison. This is murder by the United Nations. This element within our society that's doing this must be stopped. I happen to know of two of the locations where the airplanes are that dump this crap on us. 4 of the planes are out of the Air National Guard, Lincoln, Nebraska, and the other planes are out of Fort Still, Oklahoma. I personally have observed the planes that were standing still in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, at the Air National Guard. They have no markings on them. They're huge, bomber-like airplanes with no markings. This is a crime. Crime against humanity, crime against America, crime against the citizens of this great country. They must be stopped. What is wrong with Congress? This has an effect on their population and their people and their friends and their relatives and themselves. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the pilots who are flying these airplanes? They're dumping this crap, this poison, on their own families. Somebody has to do something about it. Somebody in Congress has to step forward and stop it now. Thank you. I'm Ted Gunderson.